Okay, so today marks the start of a new series on the channel called the Indie Game Spotlights. This will be the first episode, and I've been trying to find the right game and the right time to start this for quite a while. A few days ago, I did a video discussing the Battle Royale genre, some failed games, some trend predictions, and a common thread that kept popping up was an upcoming indie game called Spellbreak, and oddly enough, I've been following Spellbreak for quite some time. I am part of the alpha program, and I've played it extensively. The thing is, it's under a non-disclosure right now, so all of that is largely meaningless in this video. However, since I began following the game, they have, over time, released community highlight videos, given additional information, and despite the fact I must hold my tongue regarding intricacies of the non-disclosure barred material, I can still talk about what Spellbreak is, examine the material they themselves have released, and discuss why I believe the game, on a fundamental level, is not really a battle royale, despite that being the initially advertised framework. When I first joined the Proletariat Discord and community, which is the developers behind the game, after becoming interested in Spellbreak a while ago, there was something like a couple thousand members, if that. The community is now at over 100,000 members, and though I do want to do this video in a very positive light, I think it's worth noting that the gaming community at large has this ridiculous tendency to way overhype things to the point of pure delusion. Let's try not to have that happen with Spellbreak. The best and latest example of that exact phenomenon is Atlas. Heralded as one of the next big things, with 40,000 players per world and all sorts of crazy speculation, it was and is a complete and total disaster that had its troubles compounded by unbelievably naive hype. The big difference here, however, is that Spellbreak is not making such grand claims. The hype isn't being driven by a marketing blurb that is quite obviously untrue, manufactured, and indicative of greedy false advertising. Instead, the growing interest is based on actual revealed gameplay, which shows a product based around battle magic spell weaving and an intense power fantasy, not to mention an art style and demographic appeal that is all the rage right now, but more on that later on. The core system is spell combinations based on gauntlets, and I won't turn this into an extrapolation of all the different spells and all the different combination effects based on the revealed gameplay footage, though it can be done for those who are interested in doing that. But there are multiple different classes, and beyond that, the different gauntlets. Gauntlets have different damage types, a primary and a secondary spell, and can be used in tandem with one another to change the effects. For instance, hitting a poison cloud with a fireball creates an explosion of green wildfire, or dragonfire, or whatever you want to call it. There are a lot of combinations. There's a good number of classes, and also magical runes, which provide long cooldown temporary abilities that once again enhance the combat and raise the skill ceiling, as well as typical consumables like healing items and a few other things, but I'll avoid getting super detailed here. The most important point is that through a lengthy list of combined effects, abilities, and items, the game transcends the typical format of drop, loot, kill, which is seen in other battle royales. In games like Blackout, while there is some variation in gameplay beyond competitors like PUBG for instance, it's still a matter of drop, find a gun, find armor, get some healing items, okay, good to go, go fight. Other items help, perks are cool, but a good gun and some armor, and that's basically all there is to it. Then it just comes down to positioning and aim. Spellbreak goes beyond this by having a system of counters, complex combinations and large decisions mid-game that affect how you can fight and how you should play. An easy example is how wind can dissipate poison clouds. So if you have a poison and thunder gauntlet combining to create electrical clouds of persistent damage and stuff like that, a wind-wielding mage could clear your abilities away while having higher maneuverability. Based on what you see around you, it greatly changes at every level how you should play. Almost every article or video I see in some variation or another says new magic-based battle royale or upcoming fantasy battle royale. I would like to spread a different message personally. As we can see here, the battle royale component is not the main focus. About Spellbreak. Spellbreak is a PvP RPG set in a ravaged fantasy world filled with elemental magic and emergent gameplay. Starting from nothing, players loot, choose upgrades, and defeat enemy players to become the ultimate battle mage, and that does sound like a battle royale, but bear with me. In the world of Spellbreak, you assume the role of a breaker, a magically gifted outcast who has come to the Hollow Lands to take as much power as you can and get out. We want to create the ultimate spellcasting combat game, one that balances skill, strategy, and depth with groundbreaking new mechanics like elemental interactions. Part roguelike, part battle royale, and all RPG, Spellbreak is a fusion of genres that is greater than the sum of its parts. It goes on to discuss gameplay, RPG systems like skills and classes, etc., and its art style. Now, just real fast, they say a lot about how beautiful the art style is, it's impressionistic, etc., and it is, that's truthful, but really what they want is to appeal to kids. The child game market is massive and highly profitable. Young children's interest in and of itself can basically create a best-selling video game. So they know that and they are capitalizing on it because in the same vein as Fortnite, the highly saturated cartoony graphics and stuff are the hot flavor right now. Anyways, back to things that are actually meaningful. The game downplays its Battle Royale portion and promotes the RPG segment. That's important. That's great to hear, and I would even hope that they double down on this and make it very clear the game is not simply intended to be just another Battle Royale. A genre that is past its peak, oversaturated, tired, often lazy, and to be quite frank, really shallow. Spellbreak, with its looting, itemization systems, skills, classes, and elemental combinations, would lend itself perfectly to large-scale conquest matches. Perhaps team-based capture the flag. The possibilities are endless, and each independent game mode would have appeal, not simply because that mode just happens to be popular right now, but because the core framework and systems that comprise Spellbreak itself create fun, fresh, and dynamic gameplay. A lot of comments on my latest video regarding the Battle Royale genre pointed at Spellbreak as a potential example that would prove some of my predictions wrong, or maybe at the very least not fit into the generalizations that I made, which is, to be quite honest, probably very accurate. But Spellbreak is not garnering interest simply because it is a Battle Royale. Their own language paints the game as part roguelike, part Battle Royale, and all RPG, with an emphasis on it being a sum total that is far greater than its individual parts, wherein Battle Royale is just one part. A part that happens to be one of the first developed components, but is not the seed of genesis for the game as a whole. I won't pretend that fantasy, magic, and battle mage PvP combat is an untapped genre entirely, but it is significantly less crowded than the FPS market, for example. There is also a growing appreciation and interest in what indie companies are doing, with lower price tags, better update cycles, and a sort of mutual appreciation being fostered for non-publisher tied independent small studios. Spellbreak is entering the market at the right time, with a solid concept, and also slight capitalization, at least on trends such as mode and artwork style. I won't claim that it is the next big thing, that would be kind of irresponsible, and I also can't even really go as in-depth as I would like to on the game just yet, but anyone who is interested in a very unique, fantasy-based RPG-esque game that also has Battle Royale, if that's your passion, but focuses on creating grand, magical explosions and fast-paced, high-skill ceiling fantasy PvP, definitely get familiar with what Spellbreak is. I am not saying right now that people should go out and buy the Founders Packs. At this stage, to be quite brutally honest, the Founders Packs are way overpriced. But to be fair though, this is the time when they are looking for players who actually want to fund the development and understand they are paying to help create something, not just buying a product outright. With that in mind, knowing what you are getting and why you are purchasing, buying a Founders Pack can make total sense, but I would not want to spur players into buying something without being fully aware of why they are, what it is, and when it will pay off. To me, Spellbreak shows a very clear vision. It has a definite and unique identity. Sure, right now it's being branded as simply a magic-based battle royale, but that's honestly just media buzzword ignorance. Spellbreak is not bound to the battle royale trend because all of its strengths could carry over easily into practically any other PvP mode. They could likely be applied to PvE combat as well if the need arose, and it builds up a foundation for rapid expansion by adding in new gauntlets, new elements, classes, or items which all expand on the gameplay loop significantly more than, for example, a simple new assault rifle variation does in contemporary battle royales. Personally, I do expect success for Spellbreak, but its greatest success will probably come from innovative modes and content beyond battle royale. There is a gameplay combination or class for almost any preference at all. With the Ice Gauntlet, a user can charge up high precision bolts and rely on their accuracy for massive damage. With various other gauntlets, they can be oriented around area of effect and persistent damage that can be triggered for explosive bursts with tactical timing. The game has successfully positioned itself to have an open roadmap with flexibility in a way not many other titles I have seen recently were able to do, or even thought to try to do. Spellbreak is the perfect game to kick off the Indie Spotlight series. It's not a series where I will be telling you to go buy this game right now and freaking out about how it's the next ultimate trend, but it is a series where I want to raise awareness for independent titles that show great promise and are worth keeping track of. 2019 will be a year for indie games. That much I am confident of. With that in mind, I'll try to make this a semi-frequent series, but it won't be on a weekly schedule or anything like that. That's going to wrap it up though. I am excited to see where Spellbreak goes, if it embraces what clearly makes it unique or pigeonholes itself into just another Battle Royale exclusively, but I doubt it will do that. If you want to support the channel, check out the links down below. We have a Facebook group, Discord server, our own gaming forums, and some more stuff coming soon. I'll keep everyone posted on that. Around the time of Anthem and Division 2, we will be launching more events and really picking up steam on the community side of things, so get involved if you have any desire to, but I'll cut it there and I'll stop rambling. As always, thank you for watching, and have a nice night.